Alright, welcome back, guys. This is just a follow-up video to my first video on this harness. I was getting I think it's a P4126 code. I'll have to double check that. Anyways, it's an open circuit code for B group injectors. This was a good chance for me to take the valve cover off and check how this turned out as far as the solution to protect these wires. As you can see, I mean, it looks pretty oily and messy in there, but I went through it and looked at every group and all the wires, and the integrity of that RTV sealant, the black silicone, is actually holding up really well. The temperature and the oil resistance, it's doing a really good job protecting these wires. Anyways, as I expected from watching a few other videos and stuff, I narrowed it down to this solenoid being bad. From everything I've read, if it reads, 1 or more ohms, that's how you know it's no good. And I tested the wires too, and the wires came back good. There was no high ohms there. Anything above 1, it read to 0. My meter doesn't give me any decimal, but it just read 0, even though it's probably a point something. Anyways, so this being on the solenoid, you can see it's reading 2. So that solenoid's probably no good. Even though my truck cleared the code and the engine light went away, I had a gut feeling that there probably was still an issue, so I wanted to dive into this and double check. And I'm just gonna order a new solenoid and replace it with that until I can have someone check it out and make sure that that's all the issue is that's going on there. But anyways, so yeah, that goes to show you kind of that so far it's been working. I've been driving it off and on. I've probably put a couple thousand miles on it, and it's done pretty good, other than just recently having these issues where it's sporadic and loss of power and runs really rough, and it's all because of that solenoid. And one of the other things that I noticed, the first thing that I actually checked was my battery terminals. I cleaned them up really good. They had some, they're not really corroded, but they kind of had this weird, almost like a mildewy look coating on it. So it was kind of corroding, but the grounds were loose, and I think that's what was going on. And so I shaved down some of the inner part. These were maxed out, and I couldn't get any tighter, and this was pretty loose, and so I just filed this down and was able to get this to cinch on the post a little tighter. You can tell these are probably factory from '06, so it's probably a good point here in the near future to replace these cables with new ones. I checked everything as far as battery and cables connections, ground to engine, ground to frame, and all that is good. So maybe that's what cleared it, but I had a feeling that there was still going to be an issue, and I have a trip coming up this next week that is quite a drive, and I need this to work, and so I wanted to double check all this stuff, and it was a good chance to see how this solution worked out. So again, do this at your own risk. As far as that black RTV sealant, silicone Permatex goes, it's working for me, but each situation could be different and how you do it. I put 3 or 4 layers on. I would put a layer on, let it cure, and then come back and put another layer on, let it cure. And I try to do it as nice and neatly as I could. The oil on it doesn't really show it, but it's kind of tough, and you just do the best you can. And I cleaned up everything around the head that I could to make sure that this gasket itself seated really good. And you can tell I don't have any, well, it's kind of hard to see, but I don't really have any leaks. I looked at the back. I don't have any leaks back there, so it's done a pretty good job so far. But anyways, just wanted to show you guys that, and you know, if it you can try it, and if it works for you, awesome. And let me know what you think in comments or reviews, and if anything else comes up of it, believe me, I'll post another video, good or bad. So anyways, thanks for watching.